This is Inspector Calls in 5 minutes, a chance for us to catch up with anything you've missed. We've now moved into Birling's story himself. Okay, he's just shown he understands but won't accept any responsibility. He understands and knows what he did. He now starts to tell the story. And there's some important details in here. Now, we've got to remember, one of the points of Birling is that he is the archetypal capitalist. We get the impression from his accent and from the way he stands out differently to others that he is meant to be somebody who has worked his way up, as capitalism says you should do. But what's important for us to notice here is from what he says, Eva was exactly the same. She is a good worker as far as he's concerned. He was ready to promote her. And in fact, when he mentions that she took control of this small group of girls here. She took control of the strike. Again, it shows leadership skills. So a good worker, ready for promotion, leadership skills. This is someone he should have been promoting. This is someone like him trying to live the capitalist dream. But the idea is that he blocks her, despite it being something that she can actually, where she can actually be a benefit, purely because of money. He does also point out, which is worth noticing, that she is a lively, good-looking girl. That's just something important because everybody mentions it when they come up with her. When the inspector wants to know why he refused the money, Birling can't believe that the inspector is actually going to say anything like this. This again shows Birling's kind of expectations of power. I don't get questioned, it's my company. Okay? And this leads to this big confrontation where we come back to the idea of duty, where the inspector says his duty to ask questions, and Birling replies with the idea it's his duty to keep labour costs down. Very much, I suppose, the conflict of ideas here. But as much as anything else, I would also notice that the workers, to him, are labour costs. They are reduced, dehumanised, down to just units of money. Okay? And that's his explanation afterwards. A 12% add to the labour costs. So, at that point we see how Birling views his workers, and Eric gets a chance to see the opposite. Go and work somewhere else, it's a free country. He tells them it isn't if you can't go and work somewhere else, the inspector replies. So again, it shows Eric's different values to his own father at this point already. Gerald, of course, stands up for Birling. You couldn't have done anything else. They'd all be broke if I know them. I should say so. Gerald takes on, unlike Eric, Gerald essentially agrees with Birling. And that's very, very important because it points out that in the same situation, Gerald would have done the same thing when we think of Gerald later. Meantime, Birling points out that the main reason he got rid of her, obviously to do with money, but the way he puts it is she had had a lot to say, far too much, so she had to go. Essentially, she had to go for speaking up. That's the point he appears to make. Okay? We get that point about it's better to ask for the earth than to take it, when which really upsets Birling here, because obviously he gets the suggestion that he's being accused of taking the earth. And this is the point where he threatens him by saying he knows the chief constable. It doesn't, of course, bother the inspector in the slightest. Eric comes back in here. Again, Eric is very, very clearly bothered about what's happened. His view is, why shouldn't they try for higher wages? We try for the highest possible prices. Essentially, he is already espousing a more kind of socialist ideal, even this early on. Like, again, it's natural to him Okay, what's the difference between them trying for wages and us trying for high prices? Birling, as always, turns around and has a right go at him in front of the inspector, attacking him for his public school and varsity life. Which again, like later, when he accused him of being spoilt, again, who sent him there? How can you have a go at your son for attending schools and places that you've sent them to? Anyway, Birling doesn't take, of course, any responsibility like he says he wouldn't. And in fact, what his point is at the end, what happened to her after she left? Did she get into trouble or go onto the streets? His assumption, despite the fact she was a good worker and only led a strike, his assumption is she causes trouble because she did to him.